Okay. Hello, my name is OtheliaLee. I am from UNC Charlotte. Um, in real time, I am up in the air flying back to Charlotte. But in the virtual reality, I am here and now with you guys. And I guess that in itself summarizes the advantage of using virtual community in the social work education. And in keeping with our theme about the web-based learning, that's my talk for today, the use of avatar and virtual community to increase cultural competency. There has been extensive literature on addressing the challenges of teaching and learning about diversity and social justice. Um, Course material on oppression, discrimination, inequality can be very difficult to learn and hear from the student's point of view. And we often experience the students' resistance. And most of our students are in their 20s, and they probably grew up in a small town and didn't have an extensive life experience under their belt. So probably the next point about student apprehension and fear about saying the wrong thing has been identified as the most difficult challenges in social work education. So this called for an innovative approach to teach how effectively we can teach our students about the issues of oppression, discrimination, health disparity, and inequality. And I would like to thank my co-presenter, Dr. Volterra and Dr. Litterfield, who became the source of the inspiration for this study. So it was about a year ago at the annual program meeting in Washington, D.C. We are having a nice lunch at a healthy food restaurant, Fresh Tomato. And then we were talking about, these issues about how we could be a better teacher. And that's where I got this idea of using the avatar and virtual community. So just to give you a little background, virtual community is a computer-generated display that allows users to have a sense of being present in the environment other than other than the one they have, and also it allow extensive interaction among users, among students. And also, it is an experience within a technological environment that give a user strong sense of being there, even though you're not there. Like I'm not here, but I am here in the virtual reality. And also, this can be accomplished in the synchronicity, presence, network of people, and avatar representation and facilitation of also these activities. So avatar is a personalizable 3D representation of the self. And also, it's a very notable characteristic in the virtual community. And interactions that can occur between users and objects in a 3D environment. I have used the Voki for as an avatar, and I'm going to show it to you toward the end of the presentation about how this works in the classroom setting. So then how can we use that for our educational purpose? Those kind of three, the environment and avatar can allow students to try on different identities that they are not aware of, and also they can reflect on those experience of wearing those identities, and also it allow educators to target a particular area of the cognitive issues. So this can actually have a benefit that we cannot do in the traditional classroom setting, which I'm going to also show it to you with an example. And also it offers a valuable opportunity to proactive role-playing skills that could be both practice and that has a both practical and also cognitive benefits. So this is a cocktail party exercise I do in the classroom. So what And actually, I can compare it also, if I do that in the virtual community, what are some of the benefits? What are some of the disadvantages? So basically, I give them certain label, and I attach that label behind their back, so they don't really see what their label is. So those labels include some of the relevant issues in social work. So it could be a welfare recipient, it could be a homeless, alcoholic, bisexual, refugee, person with post-traumatic stress disorder, person who is in wheelchair bound, hearing impaired, or individual having a criminal record. So, and then I have them to interact with each other in a small group, and it's a cocktail party. Sometimes I have it in the 8 a.m. in the morning, so it might be too early to have a cocktail party, but have them to interact with each other, talking about their favorite leisure time activities. So it's a very casual kind of conversation. The rules of this game is to treat that person as the label says. So if the person has a label as homeless, then you can kind of attach certain assumptions about that person. So I also tell students this is the only chance in your social work education that you can be bias free, and you can say things they're not necessarily politically correct. But I guess students, social work students particularly, became so self-conscious about their label is. And even though it's not a guessing game, but they are still very conscious about, what their label is. And that sometimes became a barrier in the learning process, that they were supposed to interact naturally, but they don't do that because of all this fear about, saying the wrong thing. What if I offend someone? So that has been a challenge. So I was thinking about how we can overcome those challenges in the online virtual community environment, and I have a chance to teach hybrid courses which combine both traditional classroom with also online activities. So actually, students have. I am teaching human behavior and social environment, and students can choose either they could sign up for the traditional classroom where we meet regularly on the weekly basis, or they could sign up for the hybrid session where they are expected to be in the class about half of the time, and half of the other times they are in online and they are doing the various assignments. Um, so I give this assignment. The first assignment for them is to create their own customized avatar using Boki. And Boki is a free service that allows users to create their personalized speaking avatar. And then also they can post it in their blogs, their profiles, and email messages. And they can actually select a character from the variety of the options. So, you can change your hair color, you can change your skin tone, you can change the color of your lipsticks or hair decoration. The choice is endless. And then also, you can tell a backstory. So based on those labels they were given, they can create a backstory. So this is a great opportunity for students to apply intersectionality of the diversity issue. So this student his label was African American, and he created this is African American gay character. And the label was PTSD, and she created this is a white middle class man, a veteran from Iraq who developed the PTSD. And also the label was welfare recipient, and this student created this character being a welfare queen with 3 children. So I have several assignments. They could do it in the online discussion forum. So first one is introduce yourself as not for yourself as your avatar via online discussion board in Moodle. And Moodle is the site that is supported in our university. So it's very similar to Blackboard. I was formerly Blackboard user, and I have to learn the Moodle. And this actually is much better. It's coming from the Australian-based company, so it has some of the quirky language sometimes, but it's much more user-friendly, site than Blackboard. So I'm loving it. And then also they can attend the virtual cocktail party. Some of my activity is asynchronous, so they don't have to be in the login at the same time. But for this cocktail party exercise, I have them to come in synchronous and at the same time. And then also, I can this the web video conferencing program called Centra is the one also was supported by my university, and that was the one I have used it here, as you can see on the bottom right side. Um, and I'm going to also tell you about the breakout group in the cocktail party experience. And then, so that was a second assignment. Third assignment is to plan their activity as their avatar. So let's say for a wheelchair-bound person have to plan a trip to go to a grocery store, or welfare recipient to apply for the new healthcare system, or program for the infant women with infant, and those are some of the examples they can create as their activities. So the breakout group is the one that was available in Centra, and this is also in the. I have to think about. I have to, even though it's an online community, I have to think about in a way that is organically as possible that can imitate the real cocktail party situation. So in the cocktail party, you cannot talk to everybody, and that's so confusing. So you kind of have a small group here and there. So I have this four small group here at the door, at the bar, at the buffet table, and also at the veranda. And through the break function in Centra, I can monitor. So I can randomly assign students to go to this selected location. And then, like 15 or 10 minutes afterward, I can switch their membership. So I can kind of mix the group, and they can go to the new location. And that would also give them a chance to talk with the new people. So here are some of the response that was reported by students, that it was a very fun and unique way to interact. It is entertaining, interesting, enjoyable, exciting, eye-opening. Also, there are certain challenges that students experience that is a mind-blowing, something I have never experienced before. Grateful to have this opportunity, to look forward to have some more assignment like this. So that was overall very positive comment. Some of the negative comment also I heard is that it is uncomfortable at times, it is strange and wild. So just to give you some sample of the student responses. So at the end of doing this various activity in the online, they were supposed to write their critical self-awareness reflection paper. So, and also their reaction in the online discussion forum. So some of this quotation is coming from their reflection. So a white student responded, and I have my student Emily who is going to read a student quotation.
I will never know what it's like to be someone who isn't white, female, Catholic, fully able bodied, etc. This assignment helps me as I see some of my own biases and stereotypes.
Okay. And the next quotation is coming from the African American student who play a role of refuge from Burma. And it was accidentally that she was left out at the door and at the veranda, and she had never made to the bar and buffet table. And somehow it really reminds her of her own personal experience of being marginalized. She is kind of personalizing. She was really empathizing with this refugee avatar.
All of the feelings I have of being excluded started to creep in, and I began to feel like an outsider once again. I started to get a little protected over my kin and wondered if he was being left outside for a reason.
Okay. So, and then, next quotation is coming from another student that I was really proud of her that, she was able to relate the lesson of, how the world is so vast and, how, we need to do so many things and how, we have to be so culturally humble to learn about the multiculturalism.
I nearly had nothing to ask or comment on a couple of the roles, specifically the person of Muslim faith. It made me realize how small my world really can be, even if I think otherwise sometimes. This is not for lack of trying, but the world is too big to ever be 100% culturally competent. It is important to remember to be humble.
Okay. So, um, and then I guess probably another major theme I pulled out from the student response is that this virtual community allowed them to expose to authentic content and culture. So there were a lot of interaction that probably they would never have in the traditional classroom setting where they will have to be evaluated. So one student was commented, it was like a bunch of immature people, adults, and it really reminded of her like being in the high school PE class. And the next also quotation is coming from a student whose avatar was the one who has a criminal record.
Conversations I had ranged from the welfare system to my character wanting to become a prostitute. I realized throughout my chat if I had a criminal background and was unable to find a job because of it, prostitution probably would be an option that I may have chosen.
Okay, so it was really allowed such an authentic content that they can really discuss. And I also noticed this very heated interaction among those three avatars who play the welfare queen and feminist and blind person. And this actually reflection was written by the one who played the welfare queen. So this is coming from her reflection paper.
The feminist was convinced that I, the welfare queen, should work. I explained to her that every woman does not have to work in order for men and women to be equal. But I did learn that not all feminists are gay. I also exchanged words with a blind avatar. I just cannot understand why she works. I felt like I had to defend myself a lot. I deserve my welfare check. I have a child and I am pregnant with twins. Plus, I have a developmental disability that keeps people from wanting to hire me.
So what it allowed is really for students to put on someone else's shoe and try to walk a mile in their shoe. And so that was a lot of learning benefit that was reported earlier of doing this kinds of activities. But also there were some challenges reported by students. So there were initially it's very confusing and about this instruction because they have not never done it before. And also there is a lot of complaint associated. I cannot get on the computer. My computer is not working or whatever is frozen. And I try to prepare my students long before, and they were given the help desk number that they can call, but you kind of get this kind of complaint until the last minute. So I think probably out of 30 students I taught, two people have some serious technological difficulties, but for the most of them, initially it was confusing, but they made an adaptation pretty quickly. And this particular student who's played a Latina avatar, she kind of also, turned it as a learning experience that how about this initial confusion and from there, how she could go walk through and that also reflecting what she does in her home environment.
When I first started at the bar, everyone was talking at the same time, and it was really confusing to me. When people in my house are all talking at the same time, I tune out. So I really had to work hard to get into the conversation.
So, and I guess probably students were very much challenged to try to have have a conversation while pretending to be someone else's. So this is not comfortable, easy task for them to do that. And probably the harsh critique was coming from the students who play the African American gay, that it, this kind of activity, he was worried that this kind of activity may reinforce some more of the stereotypes.
I don't think I will ever know what it is like to be an African American person, so I don't really know how to respond as an African American. I can really only go by guessing and stereotyping, which does not feel right.
Okay, so I would like to, talk with you about a few points as our discussion point. So overall, the virtual community provide a useful and safe medium for students to integrate some of those cultural competency concept, and also they can practice it in a safe environment. Um, and also and this because of this simulation, they were able to kind of overcome certain physical constraints, that they can change their gender, they can change their race, they can transcend the other, issues of ability or socioeconomic issues. So they can be whatever and create a character based on whatever they, for the population, they need to understand. So that gives them a lot of freedom. And some barriers were related to the issues of the computer, accessing computer, also issues about the time to be in the synchronous forum, and some of the issues with the pre-existing negative stereotypes about certain groups. So for more information, I have this paper, this manuscript is in press for the Journal of Technology and Human Services, and I guess it will be probably published within a month or so. So if you like, I can send you the copy of the article. So please send me an email if you like to see the entire version of it. And also in the paper, I go more over comparing the traditional classroom where I do that, cocktail party exercise in person versus the virtual community where we do that in the virtual cocktail party. And since I am in remote, I am asynchronous remote environment. So I have to anticipate what kind of question you might have. And I guess you will be curious how that Voki works. So I want to show you a sample of Voki I have created.
Hello, social work students. I apologize if you received multiple emails from me as I work out some features in Voki. I have found a way to publish your wonderful Voki into Moodle. How cool! I am going to post the instructions in a message to you all in Moodle, as well as the newly created Voki forum.
Okay, I guess that's it. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact, and I wish you have a nice conference. Thank you.